Robert. This graphic presentation around the idea that foot soldiers of war often share a deep connection with one another. This is illustrated by the 2014 Sainsbury's Christmas ad, the film Winter and Wartime, or Oorlogswinter in Dutch, directed by Martin Koolhoven, and the poem The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy, and the Bill Ledley's diary entries Semaphore and Shrapnel. These all explore the relationships between humans during the past two major world wars. The memories of war often only include the headlines, which is why the headlines are shown and most of the actual story is obscured, which represents the fact that that is often forgotten. It's not only the details which are normally forgotten, it's most of the individuals who suffered who are forgotten. This story of Martin Koolhoven's film Oorlogswinter explores the story of a young boy, Michiel, who survives the German occupation of Holland during World War II. The soldiers here are lined up to show the loss of the individual during the war. Everyone is branded, and it's also connection. They were forced to kill one of their own, which brings up the resentment against the officer class, which is also shown in Bill Ledley's diary entry. So he says our Sergeant Major is making himself very unpopular now. Thomas Hardy's poem, however, illustrates the fact that the soldiers often shared a deeper connection with the other side. You'd shoot a fellow you'd treat if you met where any bar is, saying you'd shoot a person that would normally be your friend if it wasn't for the war. This leads to the struggle of an individual and leads to his mind splintering as he starts doubting himself. I shot him dead because he wonders, mind goes blank, and then he remembers, so he was my foe, which is programmed to think. Not only does this splinter the individual, also splinters families. In the film Oorlogswinter, Michiel and his uncle end up in a fight, in a confrontation which ends up with his uncle dead. His father is also killed by the actions of his uncle. However, Michiel also encounters a struggle with the opposing German soldiers, help save his life by rescuing him from the ice when he falls under the ice. This is also similar to the diary entries where the Turkish men and the New Zealand Australian Anzacs work together to bury one another's dead during an armistice truce, which is similar to the armistice during Christmas in 1914, where the British soldiers and the German soldiers stopped and played a game of football. This is shown by the 2014 Sainsbury's ad. However, the Sainsbury's ad is a romanticized version of war. This illustrated that this is purely done for profit and doesn't have noble ideals behind it, showing the slanted images which represent that it isn't noble. This also shows the two signs lined up like a game of chess, and the pawn obscuring the man's face. That to the officers, the foot soldiers were just simply expendable pawns, and that basically came down to the luck of a draw, whether they would survive or not. This NSB here is the graffiti, which was done by the Dutch citizens when they cooperated with the Germans, which stands for the Nationale Socialiteitsbeweging, which was a political party which had similar ideals to Hitler but was shunned. This was used as a way to communicate the fact that these people were to be boycotted and avoided at all costs. This is a patriotic movement which sort of fits in with patriotic posters which were used in Britain to try and encourage them to join in the war. And this wreath on the chest of Johan the Mayor, Michiel's father, as he was buried, to represent his patriotism to the Dutch Queen. Here it says "Lang leef de Koningin," which means "Long live the Queen." There was also a shortage of food and bad conditions in World War II, which is shown by the close-ups on food and the focus of food in the text, and close-up on the hair and Oorlogsunte, and the focusing on that Bill could only eat preserved powdered biscuits. This further, the frame which frames all of this is a frame which was on the Dutch death notice during World War II, which frames the fact that all war really leads to is death.